I'm back in New York after a nice holiday break, and Happy New Year to you. Today we're going to go do one that I've been thinking about for a while. We're going to head up and then work our way down the original subway line that first opened in 1904. And we're going to look at some of the original stations that are still there and still in use. Should be pretty cool. If you're just finding this channel, I pick out places in New York City to go explore, and I take you with me. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. To start this subway episode, we're going to take a bus to the Upper West Side. So let's go. Off the bus, 110 to Broadway, and this is where we're starting, the 110th Street, Cathedral Parkway, #1 subway line. So this station was built as part of the first subway line in New York City. I'm realizing it's gonna be hard to do these because constantly trains coming through. So construction started in 1900 on this station. This was built by the Interboro Rapid Transit Company, the IRT, which the whole line we're gonna be on today was part of the IRT line. Initially, the station was designed with 2 tracks, but you can see they added a 3rd one during construction to allow for express trains to pass by. The station opened with the rest of the original subway in October 27th, 1904. This was part of the original 28 stations of the first subway line, which ran from the City Hall station all the way up to 145th Street. The original station was not as long as it is now. In the 1940s, they extended the platform to be able to fit the 10-car trains that they use nowadays. I'm standing on the extended part now, which is all newer, but down in the original part, they have the original mosaic tiles and everything. This station, along with the other stations we're going to see today, are historic landmarks. You can actually see the transition between the old station and the new extension right there. You can see how close we are to the street here, and this original line was all built using the cut and cover method, where they just dug a big trench in the middle of the street and then built a subway in and put a street back on top of it. All right, we're gonna head off to the next station with the next train. Now we're at 79th Street. It's pretty much the same story for all of these first stations. They started small and then they extended them. So there's a newer part on the ends of each of them. All right, let's walk down and see the original part. In this station, a lot of the old stuff is on the outside of the fare zone, so you can see it through the gates. There are different clues to be able to see where the old part is and the new part. Part of it is the tiles, but also you can see the pillars that they use. Here are the old pillars, and you can see the transition to the new pillars, not quite as decorative. I think that's all we got to see at 79th Street. The next one is 72nd Street, and that has actually one of the only remaining control houses still in use on the outside. So we'll actually go outside of that one. Next train. So we're at 72nd Street. This is also one of the original 28 stations, and this one is particularly interesting because it still has the control house. This is the original control house, which is the entrance to the subway, and many of the other ones have been torn down or are not used anymore as a control house, but this one still is the entrance. There are a lot of similar aspects to the station itself. Original 28 stations, it was extended in the 1960s, also used cut and cover method to build it, but this control house is really what makes this one special. So this was designed by Hines and Lafarge, and it's constructed here in the median of Broadway, which is what the one line runs under on this side of Manhattan. This control house is done in a Flemish Renaissance style, and it's one of only 3 remaining, like I said. We're gonna go check out the other 2 later. So this is the original control house. When they were updating the system, they added another control house on the other side of 72nd Street. I think it's more modern and has elevators and stuff. We can go back in through that one. So over on the other side of the street, the information that I was reading said that this head house was put in between 2000 and 2002. It looks a lot older than that, but maybe it was just renovated then? I don't know. All right, back on the subway. This looks like a very old newsstand. That door is incredible. Wonder what's back there. right, now we're at 59th Street, which looks pretty old, and it's probably one of the originals. It wasn't on my list. We're just stopping here because I'm going to walk down the street to see something else. But if you look over here, you can see that there's some classic bathrooms that aren't bathrooms anymore, because at some point they stopped offering those down here. All right, we're out at Columbus Circle. This next piece is part of the original subway system, but it's not a station, it's infrastructure. And it's a few blocks away. This looks like it's it. It's actually a lot more beautiful than I was expecting. So this is the original IRT Powerhouse that powered the original subway system. I say it's more beautiful than I expected because we went to the Powerhouse for Penn Station, remember, and it was pretty cool, but the detail here is incredible. So this was built because, like I said, this is the powerhouse for the original subway system. And when they were building the subway originally, they knew they were going to need a large dedicated power source to run the trains, the lights, and the signals. And this is at a time when electricity is pretty new. So this was built between 1902 and 1905. When it was completed, it was the largest power generating station in the world. So the building here is Sanford White of McKim, Mead & White. When the city took control of the subway system in 1940, they took control of this as well. And it was still used for its original purpose for a little while. And then in 1959, it was sold to Consolidated Edison, which is Con Ed, the power supplier here in New York. They continued to make electricity for the subway system here for a while, but then converted this plant to a steam producing plant. And it's still in operation today as a steam plant. This is also landmarked. It was landmarked in 2017, and it's one of the first power plants in the country to receive that recognition. That I crossed the street to see from this side. This thing is huge. It goes all the way down that block. That's an impressive building. Man, that building is impressive. I'm glad I finally came over to see that. All right, we're gonna head back to the Columbus Street station, and then we're gonna take that down to 42nd Street, which is Times Square on this side of the island. And then we'll cut across on the S, which is the shuttle. So the original subway line came down the west side and then cut across at 42nd Street from Times Square over to Grand Central Station, and then continued down to City Hall on the east side. So it made that kind of S shape going up. But then they continued an extension up Lexington and continued an extension down the west side too. And so then it made an H shape, but we're following the original S today. And that part in the middle where it cut across is what's now the shuttle between Times Square and Grand Central. So that's what we'll take. We're in Times Square, and this is the shuttle. And these tracks would have been along the original line, the original IRT subway. I'll get the next one. And I don't know this, but as I'm standing here looking at this platform, this is only the second time I've been on this platform because I never really need to use this. It almost looks like this is where the express track was, and I'm sure I could find that out somewhere, but I'm not sure what it looks like. This might answer that question. I just realized that this is track 1, and the only other track is track 4. So 2 and 3 were probably in the middle here. So we'll take the next shuttle and go over to Grand Central, and then get on the 4-5, which is what runs on the original subway tracks now. Hardly any seats on the shuttle because it only goes one stop, so it's mostly standing room only. Times Square, we took the S across to Grand Central. We switched to the 4-5-6 line. We took the express 4-5 down from 42nd to 14th. Now we're going to switch over to the 6, which is the local, hit the next stop. We're at Astor Place now, and this is another one of the original subway stations. And it has beautiful mosaic interiors, the beavers that are representative of John Jacob Astor's fur trade. And again, you can see the original poles, and then when they extended the station, new poles down there. So another cool thing about this one is upstairs. We're gonna go out and have a look. I'm gonna have to go home and look that up. There are a lot of these old ghost doors that used to go directly into buildings. This one says Clinton Hall. I'm not sure what Clinton Hall was. I feel like I've seen something about it, but I don't know off the top of my head right now. But anyway, that's from a past era, so that's blocked off now. So up here we got Cooper Union over there, right over there in the median. That's what I'm looking for. This is why we came here, this kiosk entrance. So when the subway originally opened in 1904, many of the entrances looked like this Turkish style subway entrance kiosk, highly decorative cast iron and glass. These are modeled after the Budapest subway entrances, which opened in 1896. They weren't just architectural, they helped with the transition from the outside to the inside, kept the rain and snow off of people going down the stairs. In the mid-20th century, as people and cars became more prevalent, many of these kiosks started to be removed because they got in the way of the sightline of automobiles. So in the late 1950s and early 1960s, most of these were scrapped, and there aren't any original ones left in the subway system. This is a replica. During renovations in the 80s, they decided to use old plans and make a replica of one of these to put back in here at Astor Place. So this kiosk was made with original photographs and diagrams and drawings, and it was actually made at the same foundry that made the originals. All right, unfortunately the kiosk is the uptown entrance and I need to keep going downtown, so we gotta cross the street again. We just got off the 6 at Brooklyn Bridge City Hall station. This is the last stop for the 6. And actually the 6 turns around in the old City Hall station, which is abandoned now. And we got to go on a tour of that in an episode. Check that out if you haven't seen it. So this is the end of the original subway, but it wasn't very long before they extended it to the next station we're going to. So I did an actual tour of the old City Hall station, but the trick is if you stay on the 6 when it turns around, you can see it out the window as it goes by. They tell you to get off the train, but they don't usually force you off. Now we got to transfer to the 4-5 to keep heading downtown. So we're at the Wall Street station right now, and this is part of the extension of the first subway line. So like I said, it ended back at City Hall originally, and then they continued it down this way as part of the first extension. So this opened in 1905, and again, it's got old part of the station, and they extended it later. You see the new parts of the station, leftover bathrooms from when they used to have bathrooms down here. But the really cool part of this station is this is the only original oak toll booth that's left still in the subway system, and it's a beautiful relic. So you also have all the beautiful old tile work from the original architect, Lafarge. It's a good looking station. So building this station required careful engineering because of all the buildings that are around here. Like Trinity Church is right outside. That's a very old building, obviously. We've been to Trinity Church. You should check that episode out if you haven't seen it. And by the way, if you didn't know, the Metro card has been officially retired. All right, we have one more stop. It's in Brooklyn. All right, we're over here in Brooklyn near the Atlantic Avenue, and I was just about to say I'm not sure where what I'm looking for is, but I think that's across the street. That's it. By the way, did you see those new modern turnstiles? People are not sure about them yet. I think I said this was the last stop, and then while I was on that train, I realized that I had forgotten one. There's one more control house that I missed, and we'll hit it on the way back. So this is one of those 3 remaining control houses. This isn't used as an entrance anymore, but it's still here. The IRT part of this station opened in 1908 as part of an extension of that first line. Later, the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company, the BRT, opened up 2 more lines that crisscrossed through here. Originally, there was no way to transfer between them, but then when the city took over all the lines and joined them all together, then those transfers became free. This entrance was opened in 1908 as well. It was designed by Hines and Lafarge, the same designers as did all the early stations, including that original City Hall station. And it was listed on the National Historic Register of Places in 1980. All right, back on the subway. We got to get back to Manhattan. Can't go in here anymore. I gotta figure out where I came out. This looks a little worse for wear these days. It's like a stroller and a snare drum up on the roof. And we're back in Manhattan. We're at Bowling Green, and this is the thing that I missed. There's one more control house that's still here. We've actually seen it a bunch of times because I always tend to come out of it when I come down here. But we'll go outside and have a look anyway. Finish this off. So this is the last of the 3 remaining control houses. We've seen it a bunch of times before. It is beautiful though. This is the back of it. We'll walk around the front. There it is. Well, that does it for today. Back on the subway and back uptown. I'm back up to the east side after a fun adventure on the original portion of the New York City subway system. If you didn't know it already, I love subways. We'll probably do some more of these. There are two other lines, the IND and the BRT. They were all being built separately when they started the subway system, and then they all got combined later. We'll check out some more stations over time. If you're just finding this channel, be sure to check out all the rest of the episodes already available up to the east side on YouTube. Like and subscribe, tell all your friends about it, and look for new episodes every Friday. Thanks for coming with me to explore New York City. I'll see you next time.